In this video, we'll take a look at how to use track editing on the BR1600. Track editing allows you to modify any audio that you've recorded to a track. There are 7 functions as part of track editing: copy, move, exchange, insert, cut, erase, and normalize. Track copy allows you to define a track or a section of a track and copy it to a new location. This can be either on the same track or a different track or V-track. You can also create multiple copies in the same operation. This allows you to record a short section and essentially loop it by creating multiple copies. To copy audio from a track, go to Utility, Track, and press F3. There are 2 options for copy and insert. Copy will overwrite any existing audio at the destination location, while copy and insert will create empty space by moving the existing audio first and then inserting the copy. Move the cursor to the copy icon and press Enter or F1, and the track copy screen will appear. This is the same for both copy and insert. Select the track and V-track that you want to copy from and enter it into source. Choose the location where you want the audio to be copied to and add it to destination. If the tracks have been named, these will be displayed below the source and destination. You would assume that copy and insert would be perfect for copying a section like a chorus or a bridge to another part of the song. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Copy and insert will not let you select the same track for both source and destination. Doing so will bring up an error when you try and execute the edit. Because the audio has to be moved to another track, it makes any application of copy and insert very limited. To date, I'm yet to find any practical use for it. Instead, I use a combination of the insert and copy functions. Insert creates the space and copy adds new audio to the track. It does mean using a 2-step operation instead of 1, but it works without any restrictions. The right-hand side of the screen contains the parameters for setting the range and the copy destination. These can be set using either measures, time, or markers. You can switch between them using the F1 display format button, and you can use any combination of the 3 methods. Set the location for the start of the audio you want to copy, and an endpoint. The full length of the song is set as the default range, but can be selected at any other time by using the F3 Select All button. The 2 point is the location where the start of the audio will be copied to. Times refers to how many copies will be created, up to a maximum of 99. Each copy will be placed directly after the previous one. The default setting is 1. You generally leave the from parameter at default, which is the same as the value set in start. Its purpose is to be able to specify a location other than the start of the copy, and this will be aligned with the to location. As an example, imagine you have audio of a ticking bomb followed by an explosion, and you want to align the start of the explosion with a measure. Rather than having to calculate the length of audio before the explosion and then using an offset, you can use from instead. The from point will be used to position the copy precisely at the to point. This makes it very easy to position any audio exactly where you want, regardless of whether it matches up with measures or not. If you want to copy audio from any other tracks using the same settings, move the cursor to the number before source and use the time value wheel to select to. You can now choose an additional set of source and destination tracks. When adding additional sources, you won't be able to select a destination track or V-track that's already been used by another set. To select a different V-track for a track that's already been used, you need to change the V-track first and then the track. You can copy up to 80 tracks at a time. If you want to cancel copying for a set of tracks, use the time value wheel and adjust either the source or destination to show a question mark. Copy won't be performed for any tracks showing one or more question marks. If you exit the track menu after entering any details, these will be available when you go back into the menu. This menu is shared between copy, copy and insert, move, and move and insert. When the edit is done, the menu is reset back to default and the source and destination will go back to being blank. When all the parameters are set, press F4 Go. The audio is copied and a complete message displayed to confirm. Check that you're happy with the results and if needed, use undo to remove or redo the copy. The move function is similar to copy and is used to move audio from any track location to another. When audio is moved, the original location is left blank. From the utility screen, press F3 Track. There are two options: Track Move, which moves audio to either the same track or a different track and overwrites any existing audio, and Track Move and Insert, which creates space first by pushing the existing audio out before moving the new audio in. Similar to Track Copy and Insert, Track Move and Insert is fairly limited in its use. If you set the same track and V-track for both the source and destination, you get the same error when you try and execute the edit. Instead, you can use the Insert, Move and Cut functions to create space, move the audio, and remove the silence from the source location. Select the Move icon and press Enter or F3. This is the same for both Move and Move and Insert and is similar in function to Track Copy with the exception of the Times option. Select the track and V-track you want to move and add it to source. Set the destination to the location where it will be moved to. Track names are displayed below the source and destination if they have them. The parameters for move can be set using either measures, time, or markers, and you can switch between them by using the F1 display format button. Set a start and end point for the audio to be moved. The full length of the song is set by default. Set the location for where the start of the audio will be moved to. Set the from parameter if you need the reference location point to be anything other than the start. If you want to move audio from any other tracks using the same settings, use the time value wheel and add additional sets of source and destination tracks. As with copy, you can move up to 80 sets of tracks at a time. If you want to cancel move for a set of tracks, use the time value wheel and adjust either the source or destination to show a question mark. Move won't be performed for any tracks where one or more question marks are shown. Any destination location that's already been used by a set of source tracks will be unavailable to use in additional sets. When all the parameters are set, press F4 Go. The audio is moved and a complete message displayed. Check that you're happy with the results and, if needed, use undo. Track exchange will take the complete audio from one track and swap it with another. This can be convenient if you like having the tracks arranged in a particular order, even if they weren't recorded that way. Go to Utility, Track and Exchange. There are only two parameters, source and destination. Enter the two tracks you want to exchange using the time value wheel. If you want to exchange more than one set of tracks, use the time value wheel to select additional sets. Exchange is not possible for tracks that have already been selected or any set that contains one or more question marks. Press the F4 Go button to complete the exchange. Track Insert allows you to insert blank space into a specific location on a track. Press Utility, Track and F2 Insert. Choose the track and V-track location where you want to add the blank space and set a start location and a length. If you want to insert space into all tracks or all V-tracks, use the time value wheel until an asterisk is shown. This is for all V-tracks, all tracks, and V-tracks. To add more locations, use the time value wheel. If you exit the track menu after entering any details, these will be available when you go back into the menu, and this menu is shared between Insert, Cut, and Erase. Once the edit is done, the menu is reset back to default. Press the F4 Go button to insert the blank audio. Both Track Cut and Track Erase will remove selections of audio from your tracks. The difference between the two is that Erase will remove the audio and leave silence in its place, while Cut will remove the audio and close the resulting gap. Go to Utility, Track, and choose either Cut or Erase. Choose the track and V-track source and set a start and end point. The full length of the song is set by default, but you can also select it by using the F3 Select All button. Use the time value wheel to select any additional tracks. Set the source to an asterisk if you want to remove all tracks or all V-tracks. Press the F4 Go button to remove the audio from the song. The Normalize function allows you to change the volume of a recorded track. This can be either reduced or boosted to its maximum level before introducing distortion. This is done by analyzing the track waveform and calculating the maximum increase possible without exceeding the 0 dB threshold. Press Utility, Track, and Normalize. Select the track and V-track to apply normalization to. Both mono and stereo tracks can be normalized. Adjacent stereo tracks located on track 1 to 8 should generally be selected together so that any volume change is kept relative across the stereo image. The full length of the song is set by default, otherwise set a start and end point for more specific normalization. The sound may be interrupted for around 20 milliseconds directly before and after normalization, so if you can, you should set the start and end points at locations where this won't be heard. Normalization can be set anywhere from 1 to 100%. When set to 100, the audio is increased to its maximum level before distortion. A setting of 50% is half the maximum volume possible. Press F4 Go to begin normalizing the track. Use Undo if you want to remove or adjust any of the settings. Another use for normalization is to set a track's volume to a specific level while having the fader at unity. Unity is the point on the fader where the recorded audio is neither boosted or cut in volume and is passed unchanged from the track to the output. When you normalize a track to 100%, it'll be at its maximum volume at unity. Raising the fader any higher will push the track into distortion. The faders on the BR1600 are non-linear. This means that changes in volume are scaled depending on where the fader is. The lower the fader, the greater the change in volume when it's moved. If you move the fader at the bottom of the scale, the volume will be raised by 20 dB, while the same physical movement at unity will only be an increase of 3 dB. It's ideal to have the track faders as close to unity as is practical. This is where it gives you the finest control over the track's volume. We can use normalization to achieve this. Play a track and set its desired volume. Make a note of the maximum level shown on the right-hand side of the screen against the mix scale. Go into Normalization, and as you adjust the percentage, you can see that it also shows the equivalent level in decibels. Set this to match the maximum level of the track that you want to achieve. Once normalized, you can move the track fader to unity and the track will be played at the target volume. There are a few things you need to bear in mind when you're using track editing. Any audio edited needs to be more than 0.5 seconds in length. Any section of audio that's 0.5 seconds or less will not be heard on playback. This also applies to any audio that's left behind after a track edit. Track editing doesn't apply to loop phrases or the built-in drums and bass. If you want to use track editing on these, you'll need to convert them to audio first by either bouncing them down in the case of drums and bass, or by converting the loops using the loop phrase import button. Track labels don't get moved when you use track exchange. You'll need to manually swap them afterwards. Markers aren't adjusted when you use track insert or track cut. So any audio inserted or cut will offset the location of any markers that follow by the length of the audio. You'll need to adjust the markers from the marker menu or delete them and add some new ones. For tracks that are mostly quiet, if they contain any section that is close to maximum volume, even for just a fraction of a second, then normalization will have little to no effect on the track. This is especially pronounced on drum tracks, and a compressor should be used instead of normalization in cases like this. Any modifications made to audio using track editing are stored in temporary memory. This will be lost if the BR1600 is shut down, loads a new song, or loses power. To keep any changes, save the song either from the utility and song menu or by using the stop and record shortcut. Let's take a look at some examples using one of the demo songs. For making any structural change to a song that involves adding or removing sections, you should use either insert or cut. This is because both of these have the option to select all tracks and all V tracks, which copy and move don't. And generally, if you're moving sections around, you want to move all the tracks, otherwise some of the tracks will be out of sync. Before we get started, we can see that the song is using loops for the drums, and these can't be modified using track editing. There is actually an audio version of the drums included with the demo, but let's assume we don't have that, and I'll demonstrate how to convert the loops. Press the loop phrase import button. Select to track and choose a destination to save the converted loops to. In this case, we'll keep it on the same track as the loops 11 and 12 and use V-track 2. The whole song is selected by default, so we just need to press F4 go. Now it's copied, we can switch from the loop phrases to the audio track. Press the track type select button and F2 to cycle through to the audio option. Press the V-track button and we'll switch to the newly created audio on V-track 2. For this song, let's add an additional guitar to the intro. We'll reuse the section in the song which starts at bridge 2 and goes from bar 54 to the end of bar 65, a total of 11 bars. If we look at the markers, we can see that the first verse starts at bar 4. So we need to add an additional 7 bars at the start to give us enough space to fit the new intro. Press Utility, Track and Insert. Scroll the time value wheel until it shows 2 asterisks. This selects all tracks and V-tracks. We want to insert space at the start of the song and add 7 bars. We can check that it's worked by holding down the stop button and pressing rewind. This will jump to the start of the first audio contained within all the current V-tracks. We can see that it jumps to bar 8, which confirms that our 7 bars have been inserted. As a side note, holding the stop button and pressing the fast forward button will take you to the end of all the audio on the current V-tracks. This is quite handy to be able to skip directly to the end of a song, especially if you don't know how long it is. Having moved all the audio, we need to go in and adjust the markers to suit. Go to Utility and Marker. You do need to be mindful about the order in which you edit them. Take, for example, the break at bar 4. We can only advance the marker position by 1 instead of the 7 that we need. This is because the following marker is only 2 bars ahead, and you can't advance a marker past one that follows it. For this reason, if you're inserting audio, edit the markers working back from last to first, and if you're removing audio, edit them from the start. We'll go through and add 7 bars to each of the markers. We can use the marker search to pick a marker and test it. And it all works as it should. Now let's add the guitar part to the intro. Go to Utility, Track and Copy. The source is the guitar FX on track 910, and we'll copy it to the same track but at the beginning of the song. The start point is bridge 2 at bar 61, and the end is 11 bars ahead at bar 72. The copy will be placed at the start of the song at bar 1. Let's also copy in one of the alternative vocal takes for the first verse. Go to Utility, Track and Copy. We'll select the drive vocal on V track 3 and copy it to the current V track. The start is the intro and the end is the start of the bridge. The to location is the same as start. Let's assume that we want our guitar intro to be a little louder. We can see that even if we push the fader all the way up, it doesn't reach -4 dB. Let's use Normalize to fix that. Go to Utility, Track and Normalize. The source is the guitar track on 910. We'll normalize the intro section and leave the rest of the track as is. The start is at bar 1 and the end is the end of bar 11 or the start of bar 12. Let's increase the level so that it reaches -4 dB, which in this case is 63% of its maximum volume. Press F4, go. Now with the fader at unity, it reaches the desired level. Next, let's look at using Erase to remove a section of the drums. By using Erase, the selected section of audio will be replaced with silence. If we used Cut instead, it would still remove the audio, but it would also remove the silence and result in the track being out of sync with the rest of the song. Go to Utility, Track and Erase. We'll select the drums as the source using V track 2, the track we created from the loops. The start will be intro and the end will be the bridge. Let's have a listen.
My fear is lost and I can't feel.
There are 3 versions of the guitar for this song. Let's move the acoustic version in for the intro through to the first verse. You could also use copy to do this, and the choice is purely down to personal preference. Remember that you can always use copy to duplicate a full track if you want to keep a backup. Go to Utility, Track and Move. We'll use the guitars on track 5 and 6 as the source. You could also pick track 5 and 6 individually, but if they're a stereo pair, you generally select them together. We'll pick the same track for the destination and switch to V-track 1, the current guitar track for the song. We'll set the range from the intro to the verse to match where we dropped out the drums. In the marker display, there's no to location showing. If we switch to measures, we can see that it's set to bar 1. There's no marker at this location, and that's why it didn't show on the marker display. If we move the audio with these settings, the track would be out of sync. So we'll set it to be the same as the start point, and its location within the song timeline won't change.
My fear is lost, and I can't feel. Eyes fade.
Let's use cut to remove 1 bar from the 2-bar break between bars 27 and 29. Go to Utility, Track, and Cut. Select all the tracks and V-tracks. We'll remove a single bar by setting the start to bar 28 and the end to bar 29. As we've removed part of the song across all tracks, we need to adjust the markers after bar 28. Go to Utility and Marker. I'll use the marker search buttons and time value wheel to move each marker back 1 bar. Lastly, we'll use track exchange to swap the audio on 2 tracks. I normally have the drums on track 15 and 16, so we'll use track exchange to do that. Go to Utility, Track, and Exchange. For source, we'll choose the drums on track 11 and 12 and swap them with the synths on track 15 and 16. As we have 2 drum tracks, I'll also add a second set for track 11 and 12 V-track 2 and 15 and 16 V-track 2. And the drums are now on track 15 and 16. The track names don't get swapped when you use Exchange, so they'll need to be changed manually. Press the V-track button and a track arm button to select the track. We can edit the track names using the cursor keys and the time value wheel. Here's the edited version of the demo song created using the track editing tools.
My fear is lost, and I can't feel. Eyes fade to black. This time it's real. Can't break the line that pulls me in. Can't take the pain of my past sins. I can't take it anymore. I'm broken. Am I awake, or have I won?
If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.